This is March 15th, 2023. Let's talk about the day. So, we had a pretty interesting Globex. Let's start with Globex. 5 minute here. Okay. So, we had Tuesday. We basically had a rip into the end of the day here. And I was looking for longs off 315 or over 355 or off of 255, basically. Shorts on the 315 rollover or the 355 rejection. So we got along in Globex here, basically double bottomed 310, 315 ish area. And a nice level to level move into 355. Kind of bounced around and then claimed it. And ideally, what I'm looking for is if we're going to grind up to the next level, I don't want to see us lose the most recent low. So stops would go below that most recent low on any remainder. Obviously, take profits into the level. And yeah, so I didn't watch any more. We made a high at 73 and then London opened basically right underneath it. So pretty low risk short versus high a day. Came down, broke 315. That's where all the stops were from the RTH session, likely, and sold it. And good reactions at each level. And then we finally bottomed at 105, which was a little bit higher than the previous overnight session, right? Kind of like right in the middle. We had PPI numbers at 830. This volatility here came down, made the higher low over this or a double bottom, depending on how you looked at it. And then the morning was quite choppy. So let's go to the RTH session. Clear the drawings. So basically RTH, the candles were wild. You could either 255 I think was a good level, but big overshoots, right? So near 95 or near 55 offered pretty good risk reward, but you had to be real patient, right? And then the rollovers just never were clean. Like here, we'll look at a 1 minute so you can see the monstrosity that was the open, right? So like three candles, you're going from 95 all the way into 55. So you're going 60, 70 point ranges, 80 point ranges in a couple candles. So you have to use small size, wide stops and position very closely, right? Like, so basically we set the initial high after here. It broke this but failed to roll, so that's kind of a key sign. Comes back up and then everyone's getting short just for this little peak, and it did roll down and make a nice move into 95. Found support again, back up into came up, held 95 again, double bottom. Like, to me it looked like it wanted to roll, but I was watching kind of for if it fails to break a big covering rally, right? Sellers are exhausted and they cover, right? Buyers step in, pops up, and it kind of gives us this little here, right? Just a little downtrend. So you can short again, first it or 95. And then again, really slow. Pops off 95 or the recent low. Finally does roll over. Just shy of 45. What I was looking for, it was about 52. And once this cleared, it's 95. It's a long, right? Obviously targeting this level. More chop. Again, pretty much everything has to be positioned versus the most recent low, right? So here, the risk reward isn't really good because you're kind of right underneath, but down near here or here is okay. And then we did get a pop up, which was an easy fade, right? Because we are getting that gap fill. And if you look at the same time at ES, 1 minute, let's put it RTH. So ES is still under the opening range high, right? So to me, that's a fade, right? So that's 1148. That's 1148. So again, low risk short on ES versus this. Whereas NQ's making new highs and closing the gap. You know, if ES is weaker, it's likely to take NQ with it. So easy fade. And then again, for momentum to hold on NQ, it needs to hold above 55, right? And sells, makes a little bear flag, rolls over, and then puts in some erratic highs and lows, right? Difficult to play, you know, because here, say you're looking for the full rollover. I think this is actually VWAP. Let's see. Okay, so this is right near VWAP, right? So say you get short here versus this. Comes down, makes a new low. You'd expect to come maybe back up to VWAP, tag VWAP without going over, and then roll. Note comes up, pops up, takes out all the stops, rolls over. Fails to make a new low or a higher low, makes kind of a double bottom, pops back up, kind of is giving you like this head and shoulders type pattern. Breaks, reclaims, higher low, clears the high, pop, pop, pop. So very tough action. Like that's why I position near my levels only. I'm trying usually not to be involved in any of this, right? And you're gonna get stopped, right? Like say you positioned along here, for whatever reason, this would likely take you out. But to me, this is you try again, right? Because it's came up and it's reclaimed. So you can get long here, or you can wait for a higher low and look for little patterns like so, right? Something that adds a little bit of confluence near. And again, same idea. This is like a little fibs, starting to clear the fibs. So anything like that. But if you avoid taking positions up here, usually you'll do a lot better, right? Like if you look at this chart anywhere, basically anywhere near levels. Okay, this was kind of tough, but to me, the positioning for this is near this level. If you miss this long in here or in here, you want to position here. That's a really big move. And you can see right away the consolidation, right? So you could try once if you took profit here to buy the dip, but like to me, it's probably going to come back here. Or if you use like a fib tool, I bet you it comes back to like the 0.15, the 0.6. So, and then again here, fails to roll over. Sells, lower low, lower high, comes to resting on this, rips. So tough day. I think that's how it goes as the contracts are rolling, and it's very volatile. So into the session tonight, I was short here, which is what I was kind of mentioning. I did like short at 420 on a rollover. I did try it and got stopped. Because to me, holds above here, makes lower high, rolls. So otherwise I was looking for longs down here. Hindsight being 2020, I wasn't watching the open, but this in here is a pretty low risk long, right? Just risk like a fixed amount, like 10 points. Basically you're risking versus the most recent low. And that gave you a nice grind. But here was also an opportunity. It's kind of coming back to test in here this high. So, and then now it is came down. This is my first target, so here to here. Hindsight being 2020, could have sold a little bit and bought, reshorted. But to me, let's go to the 5, see what it looks like. So this could actually be the actual lower low, but it needs to come down and it needs to break this, and we might get the rollover back down into 355, maybe even 315. But we've already tagged 315 once, so I would say 55 is a good target to buy the dip. But we have jobs tomorrow, or unemployment, so we'll see. If it comes down to about here, 430, and holds above, I would say we're going to make the leg to 290, and it's going to try somewhere around these highs, right? But this is a good point for a short, to me. At least back into 55. If it loses 55, buyers may give up and you might get the roll. So let's look at ES. Okay, and so ES is actually a little weaker than NQ, probably due to the banks mostly, but ES could come up to 52 to 55 and also roll. Because it's like I say, very erratic price action, right? So lower lows, came consolidated, comes up, makes a higher low, but fails to take out this previous high, higher low, or lower high, lower low, but not lower than this. So in here is kind of important what it does. I'd want to see it hold at least above 3908 now, if we're gonna test higher. Okay, that's it for me tonight. Oh, good one.